Welcome back to another episode, and it's probably about time I give these episodes a name. So, we've been doing these for a few months now, and the purpose of these interviews is to give you, the listeners, the resources you need to get your business off the ground and grow your business to new heights. So, I can still remember when I was growing my business not too long ago, I had a few things that I know that I needed to get done, but I had no idea who to reach out to. I didn't have the resources. It's just like, you don't even know where to start, really. So that's what these episodes are really all about. I want to get you in touch with the right people and give you the resources that you need for your business growth. So if you have a fun or creative name for these episodes, let me know because I haven't thought on that yet, but it's about time I give these episodes a name. So today I get the pleasure of talking with Erin Martin, whom I've known for quite some time now. Erin has been managing my own ads for about 3 years, and I'll admit I have not always made it easy on her. Sorry, Erin. I had products that didn't do so well in the beginning, but we have finally struck gold. And she has been such an incredible asset to my business to the point that I almost didn't want to bring her on because I don't want to share her. So, but you know what? It's time. It's time I introduce her to the world. She has been such a big help for me, and she is the queen of Facebook and Instagram ads. And I'm so happy to share her knowledge and her expertise with all of you. So, fun fact about Erin. She also recently bought a campground with her husband, which I think is incredible. She's such a businesswoman. And so if you ever visit Maine, make sure to visit her campground as well. All right. So, Erin, what did you ask Santa for this year?
Really great weather this coming summer.
Ah,
So,
yes.
so we can
Yes.
have a really good, successful winter or season next
There
year.
we go. See, at the campground. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us first a little bit about your backstory. I assume as a girl, you didn't dream of being a Facebook manager because Facebook didn't exist. So how did you actually get started with that? What brought your interest and how did you start growing your business?
So I was running, I was the social media director for a pretty large boat dealership in South Florida. And they wanted to start running advertising campaigns. And I had no idea. I've never done that before. So I was searching around for some really good educational coaching programs like what you offer. But for Facebook ads, and I stumbled on something that really clicked with me and it really resonated on how to successfully do it. And the coach that I enrolled with, like, she was cool. I liked her vibe, and she was very educational. And they had this program where you can learn and then work on real life ads. Like, you can take a lot of classes, but unless you're like doing the work, it's hard to gauge how successful you are. And it just really kind of clicked with me. So I was running some campaigns for a really large business in Australia for their season, and it went bonanzas. So it was really good. And then I just grew a really cool network of other Facebook ad agency owners that I did freelance work for.
Mhm.
Touched a lot of different industries, and the health and wellness space is kind of where I've been for the last 5 years for running Facebook ads.
It's so awesome that you say that. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't actually even know that you were just kind of more specializing in the health and wellness, which makes sense. But it's good to know that because I know from experience running ads, I was actually my ads account was shut down when I first started running ads by myself because I didn't know really what I was doing. There are certain restrictions for health and wellness. You know, you can't touch on certain conditions. You can't assume that people have a certain condition. So Facebook really tries to create a safe space for their audience as much as they can. And so they want to make sure that their advertisers are really in compliance with their policies. And so it's good to know that you really understand that from the health and wellness perspective because it makes a huge difference. I know when I was first learning, and don't get me wrong, my original mentor and the people that I first learned from were incredible, but they did not specialize in health and wellness, and they missed a few things, and that just wasn't brought to my attention, and I missed a few things, I should say, and I got shut down. And here I am today, still running ads and doing very well with it. So, a little word of encouragement. If that something like that does happen to you, you can always climb your way back up to the top. But that's really cool to know, Erin. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a common thing in the healthcare
Yeah.
space to kind of get those flags.
Yep, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some common misconceptions or mistakes that people make with Facebook ads?
I think the biggest mistake people make, there's two actually. I think the biggest mistake or misconceptions is that Facebook ads don't work, which you and I know that that's not true. I mean, you've got quite a membership list and you've been really successful inside of your business. So, and that's, of course, organic helps, but there's a lot of Facebook ads that have helped build that. My dog's coming up the stairs. Sorry about that. And then the other thing is not necessarily a misconception, but something that people stumble over is having the patience, like setting the ads live. And then you're like, oh, why don't I have 50 sales? And it's been 3 minutes. You know, it's like having that patience and allowing the magic behind everything to kind of let it roll. So it's trying to just sit and wait for a couple minutes and or a little, you know, obviously longer than that, but waiting around and having patience.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I think, and one thing that I definitely believed when I first started is like I published my first ad and was checking my phone about every 5 minutes waiting for a sale and
Yeah.
nothing came through. Obviously, I know now that it takes time for, we'll talk more about the algorithm later, but it takes time for Facebook to kind of understand what you're doing and deliver it to the right people and to get those sales rolling in. And once they do, you know, you can eventually catch fire. But it's, yeah. I wholeheartedly understand that challenge where it's like, yep, you gotta be patient and it doesn't happen right away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some unique strategies that you use to boost ads performance?
There's a couple of different things. Obviously, having the right audience is pretty much the the biggest thing in order to get the ad in front of the right person. You can certainly make sure your landing pages have great copy and are convincing enough to make somebody want to pull out their credit card and make that purchase. But having the right messaging in the ad is the first step in order to get people over. So testing, and that's another thing that people struggle with, is testing different audiences and copy and images and creative, and then again having that patience to kind of let the system figure out which one is the best. So testing multiple different audiences against each other. And then another thing that I've found that is helpful if something stalls out, and this has been helpful, and it varies campaign and customer or client, but is almost duplicating what was working and relaunching it and letting Facebook have like it really tries to go out and get those low lying or low hanging fruits right away. So you can get a lot of purchases quickly by kind of duplicating things that have worked and just letting that run. But sometimes you have to rebuild everything, which is a frequent thing too.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know you do that frequently for me. And yeah, one of the things that I'm just thinking about based on what you just said is many times I'll spend a while creating an ad, like a video ad or, you know, some sort of creative image. And I spend a lot of time on it and then we launch it and it's crickets. It doesn't do well. And I'm like, darn, I spent like 3 hours making that ad or more longer at times.
Yeah.
And what I've realized now is like, I really don't know. You have to test. Like you said, you have to try everything. Still images, carousels, you know, videos, whatever else you have up your sleeve. You've got to try it all. And then again, just let the market tell you what's working. It's kind of like real estate, right? Like you can put your house on the market for $500,000, but if people are only offering you 420, then it's worth 420, right? And so it's kind of the same idea where it's like you might think something is really valuable or that it's really going to catch people's eye, and it turns out it's the complete opposite thing that people are really looking for. And so reading into that and seeing what's working and then changing your ads based on that, which Erin does very nicely for me, is important. Okay, so talk to us a little bit about picking audiences for ads. So this is a topic I get asked a lot about. And like you mentioned earlier, it's one of the most important things when it comes to putting your advertisements out there. Because you can't, a lot of people think in the health and wellness business or space when they first start running ads that they're going to be able to type in a keyword like hypertension or IBS, and you can't type those in. Those keywords are not available. So what are some tricks that you can use to get the ads delivered to the right people?
Yeah. What's really fun is those things used to be available to us. So the Facebook ads in the past were like super targeted. So now you have to be a little bit more creative on how you can kind of build those audiences. And what I've done specifically for you is what other interests or what other things do your specific audience purchase? Like, where do they go shopping? Who are their other mentors that they could look like? Influencers, I hate that word, but like, who else can be influencing their mindset or mindfulness or things like that. So segmenting out those audience avatars is by being creative and kind of figuring out what else do they do, your ideal customer, what else do they do on a daily basis, what are they plagued by, what are some pain points that they suffer from that they can also be searching as keywords, and then really kind of just getting into the Facebook ads dashboard and typing in a lot of those different words to see if they're targetable. And Facebook does change those often. So sometimes you could be targeting coaches or whatever, and then that keyword disappears. So you have to continually look for new audience types, and just continually create other testing groups of audiences that you can look for.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's not set it and forget it, right?
Yes, unfortunately, that this is not a game of set it and forget
Yeah.
it. It is a full court press of looking for audiences that work, for sure.
Yeah, that was another kind of misconception that I had in the beginning, was like, okay, once I find something that works, I can just kind of like let it run and it's going to continually profit. And that's not the case. Like Erin said, audiences will drop off. All of a sudden your ad that was doing great isn't doing so great anymore, and you have to rebuild it and change it and restructure it. And so yeah, having someone like Erin, or learning from Erin how to understand audiences and how to understand Facebook ads better is crucial if you're running ads.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the algorithm that everybody talks about? What does it actually mean?
So it is the science and the machine that works behind the scenes of trying to get the right piece of content onto your newsfeed, based on what your interests are. So, when people say, I think Facebook is listening to me, or Google is listening to me, well, they are. That's true. Like, your devices do that. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But that information helps create those targeted ads. So if you think of yourself as the consumer and you're looking through your Facebook feed, like every 4 posts is an advertisement. And for the most part, they should be based on your browsing history, things that you search for, things that you've bought in the past, brands that you like, things like that. So it's the science behind it is what people have called the acronym BEAR, BEAR, which is B is like forbidding, or how much you're willing to spend to get that conversion, purchase a lead conversion or whatever. And then the EA is the expected outcome, like what are you telling the advertisement to do, or what do you want to happen? Do you want somebody to comment? Do you want somebody to purchase? And then the R is relevancy, like how relatable is the content that you're pushing out going to be for your intended audience. And the better all of those things line up, the more conversions you can get.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Or the more relatable that content is going to be for you.
Yep. Yep. And it's crazy how fast the algorithm works too. Like, for example, you might see one ad pop up on your screen, you stop the scroll for maybe 20 seconds to read the ad, and then keep scrolling. And in 8 posts, you see another ad similar to that content,
Yeah.
right? It is crazy how quickly it happens. I remember when I first started setting it up ads, I was like, why are we, I was setting it up basically for like search history of up to 30 days. And I was like asking my coach, like, why don't we go 90 days so we get more, more people? And it's like, well, the shorter the time, it's like people change their activity so quickly on these devices. Like one day you're buying this, the next day you're buying that. And Facebook can keep up with it. And so, yeah, really kind of narrowing it down sometimes is helpful. And yeah, it's amazing. And it's just getting better and better with the technology that we have out there of who they are able to target based on what people are buying. And so Facebook ads, I mean, they can be so profitable when you're doing it right. uh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, what type of businesses do you think should be running Facebook ads or Instagram ads? Because they're the same, guys. It's all Meta, just in case
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
that.
It's kind of a broad stroke. There's so many different business types that can be running Facebook ads. It's really the result that you're looking for. So I honestly think that every single type of business has a place in advertising,
Mhm.
or a way to spend a budget towards advertising. It's just making sure you're doing it smartly. Do you have all of your down the line stuff ducks in a row? If you're sending an ad out for a lead campaign, like you want somebody to call you for, to fix your AC, if somebody clicks that and becomes a conversion, how fast are you at responding? We are in such an age of instant gratification, which kind of goes back to your timeline 30 days or things like that, because we live in an age where we want whatever we're wanting to buy, we want it right now. So if you can follow up with that lead, or you can deliver that product, or you can ship something out as fast as you can, the higher probability that you're going to be successful over other people. So I think there's a place for every single type of business based on the needs. You just got to make sure everything's kind of lined up after you hit, publish for your ads.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why digital businesses do so well, anything virtual, because you potentially can deliver a product instantly, right? People sign up, they pay, and they get it instantly. And so again, it's that instant gratification that people are looking for when they're on these types of portals on Facebook, on Instagram, that type of
Yeah.
thing. And so yeah, and local businesses, from what I hear, and I don't have experience with this, but what do you feel about local businesses running Facebook and Instagram ads?
I think again, there's still definitely a place for it. I think the budget that's needed is definitely a lot less, because you don't have to compete for a larger audience
Yep.
across the country. Like that's not relevant. Like your local radius is who you're looking for. You're not going to drive 50 miles to go get a haircut unless you live in rural Maine. So you just kind of thinking about who your intended audience is as well. Yeah, so I think there's a place for that. It's just making sure you're spending things wisely. You're still in competition in an advertising space, even if you're a local person. Like there's national, global companies that are still trying to target your same avatar. So you're still in a bidding war on the advertisement side of things against these other people. So you do have to have enough of a budget to kind of outbid some other people to get your advertisement seen. It's just a wild spectrum, so definitely local. If you are able to have a larger targetable radius or audience, you have a lot more eyes that are possibly able to jump into your funnel and buy from you as well. So I think it's just what your ideal goal is, your objective.
Yeah. And I think too, with the virtual business, the thing is, I mean, there are billions of people on this planet, and you don't even just have to market to the United States. You, depending on what your product is, you could even expand past that. And so it's almost like there's an endless amount of customers out there, right? And so it's pretty incredible what there can reach. I find myself sometimes being like, oh, I hate Facebook, on the weekend when I'm like answering silly Facebook things or getting spam on Facebook. And I'm like, and then I have to quickly remind myself that like, no, I love it. It's what makes my business
Yeah.
possible. And it's, it has given me so much possibility and opportunity. And so that's out there for you guys to
Yeah.
explore.
It's
So
definitely a double-edged sword.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have to love to hate it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So Erin has some pretty awesome opportunities. She has two things. One of them is for Wellness Vault members only. So if you are a member of the Wellness Vault, you get access to a free resource that she's giving you. And this includes a Facebook optimization checklist for your actual page and also for your personal profile in addition to that. And then also a 7-day mini bootcamp for Facebook engagement. Erin, I don't know if you want to touch on this freebie at all.
sure. So the optimization is just important. It's making sure when somebody lands on your personal profile or your page, they know immediately how to take action with you. Those are like just foundational things that you need to have in place. And then the 7-day mini bootcamp is really a way for you to kind of jumpstart engagement on your Facebook pages, or your Instagram, whatever platform you're on. Everything revolves around engagement. So all of those, likes, loves, shares, comments, all of those things, all of those are trigger words for every single platform. So it can kind of downgrade your available reach. But there's definitely some ways to kind of spark that engagement. And that's what that boot camp is for. It's 7 days and it's supposed to really be 7 minutes or less a day. So it's not taking up a lot of time, but they're really actionable things that you can do to kind of get more engagement. And then the organic part of that algorithm is the more engagement on your page kind of snowballs. And that's how you can get more visibility, more reach, more viewers, whatever, which you can sell organically, which is great because you don't have to pay for advertisements that way.
So that's great. That's like anybody who's just feeling stuck with these pages and just needs a place to just kind of like jump in
Yeah.
and get rolling. 7 minutes a day is so practical and it's something you can just commit to. So check that out. So, and then the other offer you have, which is incredible, talk to us a little bit about your Facebook and Instagram toolkit.
Yep. So thinking specifically about this interview, I built this package specifically for your people, because of the questions you and I have often from your audiences. We touched on is how to really build those audiences. The audience is kind of the make it or break it, because if you're not in front of the right people, you're not going to get purchases or sales or leads or whatever your goal is. So that's like the biggest part of this package. And then the next couple things are leveraging the different AI tools that are out there to work for you. Like there's some that can take your tone of voice and not sound so robotic, which is really good because a lot of them do sound pretty robotic and generic. But some chat GPT prompts, and some ways to kind of leverage those tools. And then there is understanding the Facebook analytics. So once you do start running ads, what do all those numbers mean? What is the click-through rate? Where should I kind of be looking for, or want to be above or below on some other things? How can I make smart decisions on when to turn advertisements off or leave them running? And then when you see that plateau and stalling, how to kind of reboost that. And then the final thing is a template on sizing. So oftentimes when you're scrolling through your news feed, people have just one creative image in an advertisement and it can crop it and cut it off kind of awkwardly, where you're kind of on a cliffhanger. What else was that supposed to say? So it's just a simple template on how to make sure all of your creatives fit in one spot, which you will have to manipulate a little bit in order to make sure everything fits. But it's just some templates to kind of keep all of your big things, important creatives inside the lines.
Amazing. Yeah, so helpful. I know, because I've had those that's nightmares where I see my ad that I posted and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks terrible. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing because I don't, right? And so it'd be helpful to have those templates. That's incredible. Okay, and you're offering that. Tell us the price, the discount that you're offering for that today.
So I'm doing it's $99 for that entire package.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So she's offering a huge discount on the package itself. That is, I've paid people a lot of money to learn this information. So that is a huge value right there, just to have it kind of all laid out for you. So make sure to check that out. Erin, any final last words?
Uh, just the biggest things are be patient, really hone in on your messaging. I find that there's a lot of inventory available in the health and wellness space in all kinds of different coaching methodologies. But if you kind of narrow down your message and really kind of target who you're trying to speak to, you'll have a little bit better success. And then just be patient. Everything doesn't have to be perfect when you start launching, but you want to get some data in, you want to start getting some sales to kind of help pay you back, and then just fall back on that patience. That's the biggest thing.
Thank you so much for your time. And I know you and I will be in touch soon, but we are signing off. Have a good day.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.